Welcome to Eternal Manna, the daily devotional broadcast of Grace Gospel Church. Today we start looking at Psalm 44. Psalm 44 was written by the sons of Korah. And the context to this psalm is that Israel as a nation is in a season of great defeat. The people are greatly disturbed and they are calling out to God for rescue. Perhaps this happened during the time of King David. And if you want some historical background, you may want to read 2 Samuel chapter 8, verses 13 and 14. So let me read Psalm 44, verse 1. We have heard it with our ears, O God. Our ancestors have told us what you did in their days, in days long ago. Verse 2, with your hand you drove out the nations and planted our ancestors. You crushed the peoples and made our ancestors flourish. Now in these two verses, 3 times you have the word ancestors mentioned. Forefathers, ancestors. Now, the ancestors did something amazing for the next generation. What did they do? They told the next generation about what the Lord has done for them and what the Lord has done for the nation in the past. They were telling stories about God. And as the ancestors faithfully fulfilled their calling in educating the next generation in the ways of God, in the knowledge of God, as the next generation faced their times of crisis, guess what? They went back to those stories that they had heard. And they are now calling upon the Lord, who did all those miracles in the past, to do the same for the present. Now, I want to challenge you as I challenge myself. We owe an obligation to the next generation. Those of us who are much older, we need to tell the stories about our God, about how He has worked in our life. We need to tell those stories to our children and to our grandchildren. And we can write them out as a journal. We can today, because of photographs, we can take a lot of pictures and we can write our story under those pictures. And the next generation is able to read them. They're able to see those pictures and they are able then to understand what an awesome, great God they have. It would be very sad if you and I go through life without preparing the next generation for the battles that they are going to face by educating them in the knowledge of God and in the ways of God. Now, we always ensure that our children get a good education, right? We send them to good schools and colleges and universities, and we pay big money for it. And that's good, and that has got its place. But how about biblical education? How about sitting with your children and telling them a bedside story of how the Lord came through for you from your own personal experience? Those stories are unforgettable. And those stories are going to come alive in the lives of your children as they face challenges in their own personal life and in the life of the nation. So here we find the sons of Korah. They are telling us that the ancestors told the stories of victories in the past, and they become faith boosters for the present. The victories of God in the past, they activate our faith for the present. And so what are these stories that they would have told? Stories of how God parted the Red Sea, of how God parted the waters of Jordan, how the walls of Jericho came crumbling down, how God defeated 31 enemies so that the people of God could inherit the land of Canaan, stories of how David slew Goliath, and so on. So many stories, stories of creation. And you and I have so many stories that we can tell. We have the whole New Testament, and of course, our own personal life. And we need to make sure that we are educating the next generation. May God give us grace to do so. Amen.
For more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Grace Gospel English Church Toronto. Thank you.